Professional wrestling can truly cause a range of emotions, from happiness to sadness to elation to pure unadulterated anger, because you just don't understand how could these vicious heels do this to my absolute hero, the jukebox hero with stars in his eyes. How could these heels do such things? But when the babyfaces triumph, it's so goddamn great. Feelings that can absolutely only be matched and even exceeded when you're at the show live, like I was. Anyway, let's talk about it. I'm John Rectum with my review of AEW Dynamite from Seattle, Washington. Yes, my voice is absolutely goddamn shot. So I apologize if I sound a little bit rough, but man, that was a hell of a goddamn show. It was really goddamn fun. Shout out to Roxy. Roxy, it was so goddamn great to be able to hang out with you at a wrestling show. Well, for the first time this year, and be back at a Seattle wrestling show for the first time in nearly a year. She was with me for the New Japan Strong tapings at historic Washington Hall, but this was at the Climate Pledge Arena, formerly the Key Arena. The same venue where Elias said, it's like having a basketball team in Seattle, and I was there where you felt the booze in your goddamn feet if you were there. And I'm not talking about the beer, I'm talking about the booze, the absolute goddamn fury. And there was some fury on this show, but there was also some great goddamn moments. In fact, maybe it's just because I was at the show live, but this is one of the better episodes of Dynamite that I've seen in quite a while. The new set is a bit distracting, a bit weird, but also kind of cool. Very, very 80s with the laser light show and everything, but nevertheless. And right off the bat, I did clip through this once I got home, but I will give you some tidbits from somebody that was there live. I may review the AEW Dark Elevation show that is going to take place on Monday because I was there. Got to see Bandito versus Christopher Daniels in one of the last matches they recorded after Dynamite went off the air. And there were some other cool moments. So anyway, oh boy, Judas. Let's hear it for the Judas. There were a bunch of people singing this, and I recorded a reaction video of me just saying, oh boy, yay, Judas. Chris Jericho with his ego-stroking entrance. I still wonder that we're coming up on the anniversary. In fact, Rampage and Battle of the Belts are taking place on January 6th, and I wonder what Chris is going to do for his wife that was at the January 6th insurrection 2 years ago. Wonder what he's going to do. Get her an anniversary gift? Maybe try to get her get out of jail free card? Dumb bitch deserves to be locked up there. So does everybody that participated in that. Nevertheless, Starks over as hell. Starks was hugely over. The shocking thing is, and maybe not so shocking for those that are in this area, Aubrey Edwards, referee Aubrey Edwards, probably the most over of anybody. Her and Bryan Danielson, because Aubrey, every time she was there, out in front of the crowd, Aubrey, because Aubrey Edwards, one of the best referees going today. Her in red shoes in New Japan, as far as I'm concerned. Aubrey is just great. Really love her, and I'm so happy for her success. Super nice if you ever get a chance to meet her. And the place, it wasn't nearly as sold out as I would have liked. They had it set up for like 11,000 some odd tickets. I think they sold 9 to 9.5, but let me tell you right now, when a Seattle crowd gets a chance to be at a big wrestling show, oh, we're going to let you fucking know that we're happy. And we were definitely happy. This was a goddamn blast to be at. I am absolutely happy that I've been up basically since 4:30 a.m. because the producer woke me up, and then also I had to watch Wrestle Kingdom. I couldn't catch a nap because I had to make sure I got to Seattle on time. Ricky Starks took on Jericho with the former 2.0, Daddy Magic Mac Daddy and whatever the hell his name is, and Angelo Parker with his weird knife comb thing. And Aubrey being hugely over was nice. She got a lot of chance. I don't know how a lot of the chance came across on TV, but let me tell you, in the arena, they were rocking, and it was a rocking, and they didn't come a knocking. We were just knocking on heaven's door. Jericho's completely washed. Can't do anything. He looks even worse in person. He looks absolutely terrible. I mean, and he's getting by on smoke and mirrors, but Starks, he was there for everything. They pop big, crowd pop big for the Walls of Jericho. And it's like, oh my God, he's like, he gets hit and he's down, and then Starks manages to just break out of it and then get a roll up, and then somehow hit a snap spear. 1, 2, 3, big pop, big goddamn pop for Ricky Starks getting the victory. And then, of course, who dresses Jake Hager? I don't know how much thought he put into his gear, but more would have helped. Um, the Jericho Appreciation Society shows up, and then Action Andretti shows up and lays out people, and then gets low blowed, and we get more of a beatdown, and then Ricky Starks gets put through a table by a man in leopard print shorts. Jake Hager likes that hat, by the way. A table bump on a wrestling show, that never happens. Great for Ricky. I mean, this whole thing with Jericho leeching off of people that are way better and way more over than him and that have more to offer to the company than he does as a wrestler. It's getting tiresome. It's getting really goddamn tiresome. Nobody has gotten over wrestling Chris Jericho in a long feud. MJF managed to escape, barely. I really hope Ricky Starks can get away from him soon. So, we thought that about Eddie Kingston, though, and look what happened. We have Shivani, who was getting a lot of cheers, actually. Shivani was getting a lot of cheers. I like Tony Schiavone. I'm not knocking. It's just he got a lot of cheers. Hangman Adam Page comes out, big pop. Boom, boom, boom. He's all, he's talking about how he's going to get cleared. He's going to face Jon Moxley. Once he gets that last brain scan, that it's all over and everything. And says the same thing about another wrestler that had a wife and child on June 23rd and 24th, 2007. Can't even say my own jokes correctly. But Heyman got a big reaction. And then Jon Moxley, Wild Thing You Make Seattle, saying it was really, really good stuff. We did have some mic issues where we couldn't hear Moxley and we can't hear you chants. And then I did like how Hangman said before, I will knock your dick in the dirt. I don't know why that was funny. But then Moxley says, fuck twice, trying to get the mic to work, praises the Seahawks, and this was good shit. This was actually good stuff. They billboard this, hyped it. I'm excited to see what they're going to do for this match. They're going to have to make it a knockdown, drag out. You can have a non-finish on this. Or you could just have them beat the shit out of each other for 10 goddamn minutes, never actually start the match, and the crowd will love it. And then you can build it to the pay-per-view. So far, so good. We're doing well, except for the aforementioned Jericho Appreciation Society beatdown. The Acclaim got a huge reaction. Max Caster's rap went, way over. You all messed up worse than Andrew Tate. Just saying right now, if you support Andrew Tate in any way, shape, or form, you're a fucking goddamn moron. But he knocked Karen Jarrett. Let's be perfectly honest. You can knock Karen Jarrett because every other guy already has passed around more than joined the college party. But it was the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens, and Max Caster with Billy in the corner, taking on Lethal and Jarrett with Sanjay Dutt and Giant Silva Jr. And let me just say right now, boy, the whole scissor me daddy chant. What has happened to professional wrestling that scissoring is appropriate to happen on a cable television between multiple men? AEW tag title match. The crowd we went nuts for the Acclaim. Absolutely insane for the Acclaim. I mean, they were massively over. Hated Billy being kicked out. But then Dutt and Giant Silva Jr. got kicked out. It was funny to see Giant Silva Jr. doing the double bird. That was actually kind of cool. And then the finish had Bowens getting hit with the stroke. And then gets his foot on the rope, but Dutt pushes it back. 1, 2, 3, because the officials were trying to get both of them out. But Dutt managed to sneak through and do that. So, oh no, new tag champs. But then Aubrey sees that, and Aubrey. Huge Aubrey chance, and Aubrey saves the day. And Aubrey gets the match restarted because nobody wanted to see Jarrett and Lethal. Nobody wanted to see Jeff Jarrett as a champion of any kind in any wrestling company in 2023. And then we get a little bit of a restart. We get a roll up 1, 2, 3. Anthony Bowens manages to pin Lethal. There you go. You know what? That was a bit of a WWE WCW finish. And actually, Crockett's done stuff like that before. Or Crockett did stuff like that before. It worked here, though. Because let me tell you right now, they had Jarrett and Lethal. That would have killed the crowd. If they had Jarrett and Lethal actually managed to get away with it. And stuff that we actually didn't get to see that I had to go back and watch on TV. We did not get to see the pre-tape with Britt and Jamie. And who will be Soraya's partner, defender of Abuserverse. I love Jamie. God, I love Jamie. And Britt says, I'm the boss. It's not going to be Mercedes. Unless they decide to swerve us, bro. Jungle Boy, OEOEO, he makes a challenge to Big Billy Willie and Lee Moriarty. Ends with Hawk. That's the most you're going to get out of me this week. I'm sorry. And Tony Nese is already in the ring. Dasha Gonzalez, by the way, as the ring announcer. My God, she looks amazing in person. But it's Tony Nese with Smart Mark Sterling and Joshua. Oh, this was great. Oh, Bryan Danielson over like a god. My goodness, this was amazing. It isn't quite the loudest reaction that I've seen for Bryan Danielson. I think the 2013 Slammy still eclipses it. But good God, we got to see him, back in a wrestling ring in Seattle. And I remember being there for his show when he retired. And then I was there when he was still one of the GMs along with Shane McMahon. Here comes the money, all that. In hindsight, I probably should have said that for Mercedes Moné in my Wrestle Kingdom review, but I was tired during that. That being said, Danielson versus Nese, it was fine. Nese is a good athlete, and Nese got some shots in, but eventually fell to the Regal stretch. That was good. This was a fine match for what it was in the crowd. Again, Danielson over like a god. And then he says he's feeling froggy. He calls out MJF. MJF comes out. MJF knocks everybody. He knocks all the women in Seattle. All the women in the arena. How dare you? There were plenty of beautiful women there, by the way, but also in particular Roxy, who just happens to be one of my best friends and also a very beautiful woman in her own right. Absolutely captivating. A great goddamn woman. How dare you, MJF? But that being said, he also wasn't wrong about some of them, because if you've seen some of the women in Seattle, well, then you probably regret that. I kid, of course, because trust me, I was one of the worst looking guys there in Seattle. But Danielson and MJF this was great shit. But Cornette's name got mentioned, which was great, because MJF was like, oh, all these people that praise you and everything, and they've never stepped in the ring, but people like Disco Inferno and Eric Bischoff and my good friend and my number one fan, Jim Cornette, which got a huge amount of boos. I mean, it got applause from some people. It was funny. This was good stuff. This was good stuff. And then Danielson's finally talking to him, and, because all this talk of number one contender, that Danielson apparently, after MJF rather talked to Tony Khan, hey, if you win all these matches until February 8th, I'll give you a title shot at Revolution, no questions asked. Daniel says, okay. I'll just keep beating people's heads in until I'm doing that until I get a title shot. No, this is how you have to do it. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll play your game. I get to pick stipulation for Revolution. Oh, you're going to do this so I can just cheat and do all this stuff? Oh, brilliant. No, this is a way where you're not going to be able to cheat. You say you're the best wrestler in the world. Well, you're going to have to prove that. 60-minute Iron Man match on a pay-per-view. Sign me up. Take my money. I will absolutely be buying Revolution. That's going to be goddamn great. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's going to be great. When is Revolution going on sale? I would actually travel to watch that in person, except I don't want to go to California because at the present moment my voice is too shot to even think about that. But this was gold. This was goddamn great. It was also great that Danielson mentioned earlier making mom jokes. Making jokes about how, MJF saying about Danielson's mom that she may breed with a goat because he looks like a goat. And MJF getting a turn back on him when Danielson said, your Mom had plenty of suitors. I think some suitors, maybe, enough suitors to fill this arena. In fact, some of the people in this arena may have been suitors for your mom. And then we got all of that stuff. It was an amalgamation of just great stuff. This is how you do a promo segment back and forth. This is good stuff. And Swerve got a massive pop. Tacoma's own. Swerve, nice guy, great talent, so happy for him. Him and AR Fox renewing their rivalry that they had in Lucha Underground, and Swerve's honkies were there. And I'm sorry, but that's what they're going to be. It was fine for what it was. It was, some good flippy shit, some good athletic moves. I mean, Swerve is really good as a heel, and AR Fox is talented. There's no doubt about that. AR Fox had some good hops, is what I know. I don't know why they needed to do the apron bump, the hardest part of the ring. And then Swerve got to stomp 1, 2, 3. So there you go. But Swerve was really feeling it. During the break, he was really feeling it. Like there were a lot of good shots and everything. We were enjoying it. Like, woo! It was great how Swerve was enjoying it. And then Renee is with Saraya, Defender of Abusiverse, and we have Toni Storm and Sheeta. My God, Sheeta, good God, Sheeta, good grief. I mean, Toni looks great as well, but who will be her partner? It's not going to be Sheeta. Sheeta's frustrated. It's going to be Toni Storm. This is either leading to a swerve where Toni Storm's going to be taken out backstage, and it's going to be Sheeta that took her out, and then Mercedes is going to step in, or we're going to have Toni in there, and then Sheeta's going to cost Toni the match, and we're going to lead to that feud. Because I think they're going to have Sheeta turn heel for whatever reason. But that being said, it was what it was. The Guns then do a eulogy to FTR. The FTRIP graphic, I admit, was kind of funny. They did get some fans with the FTR theme hitting. This was fine. It was fine for a little. We did what them to death. Because the Guns, they're trying, but I don't think this really worked. But they got people with the FTR theme. They were in Tokyo. And probably still are, probably are resting since they just got to Tokyo in time to be in the Tokyo Dome. So they probably had to maybe rest for a day and then fly back. There was no way, even if they left right after their match, that they were going to be able to fly there. They didn't have a supersonic jet. Then we get Sky Blue and Kira Hogan taking on Jade and Red Velvet. Goodness me, Jade's entrance was over with the crowd, and then the instant that the bell rang, well, that's it. People just didn't care. Now, to be fair, I mean, this whole thing with Jade and the baddies and the former baddies like Kira, it's not the best storyline, but yeah, it wasn't exactly the best use of them. It was alright. Layla looked great. My God, she looked great. Jade looks like $1 million. And she can do like 2 moves. Which sometimes is all you need. I mean, she's over with the crowd. She looks impressive in person. She eventually hit a pump kick 1, 2, 3. This is also mostly about Red Velvet being at odds with Jade. Probably because Red Velvet was replaced because she was injured and then felt slighted. And I guess Red Velvet is just going to lead the baddies and challenge her because she was pointing at the 47-0 graphic. And then we get a Rampage and Battle of the Belts rundown. I want to say right now that I may have scheduling changes, so if those reviews are up later, I do apologize in advance. But I will do my best to review those. Those are going to be in Portland. Even if there were not going to be possible work schedule changes, I guarantee you this, I would not be traveling to Portland because, no offense against anybody that's from Portland, it's 4 hours and change away from me. Even if I drove fast and got there in 3 hours and, like, say, 15 minutes, that's still nearly a 6.5 hour round trip. No, because I got to work early Saturday. And also for the Rampage and Battle of the Belts cards, nah, I'm sorry. That ain't worth driving that far. I hope everybody that is in Portland and surrounding areas that goes to the show has a blast, though. But I will review that eventually. So Renee is with Jarrett and Lethal, and Jarrett talked about 15 referees and overbooked stuff. I don't think Jarrett, Mr. TNA, overbooking and also who was overbooked or in a lot of overbooked nonsense in WCW should really be talking about overbooked nonsense. Hello, pot, meet kettle. But it was what it was. Darby versus Joe for the TNT Championship. First, Darby makes his entrance and greets Nick fucking Wayne, who got a massive reaction. A massive reaction. He actually got a reaction before the show went on the air because him and his mother, I assume and other family members were there. I know his mother was there because I talked to both of them at independent shows. And Nick, great kid. He's just going to continue to get better and better and better. It's so great he has a supportive family. Nick's dad, Buddy Wayne, who the Pacific Northwest version, not the Memphis version. Read up on the Memphis version and you'll understand why there is a drastic difference. And people respect the Pacific Northwest-based Buddy Wayne. Rest in peace, Buddy Wayne. But he, Darby, got a big pop. Gave love to Nick Wayne because he offered him a contract earlier last year at a Defy show. he showed up and was like, this is on the condition that you graduate high school and then you can train and you can do this. Nick Wayne getting an AEW contract that early. Kid fucking deserves it. So anyway, Joe then grabs Nick Wayne and shoves him around and everything. His mom's taller than Samoa Joe. I mean, Samoa Joe's a big guy. She's like 6'4". I mean, seriously. Very, very happy for Nick Wayne. Because he was probably having the time of his life there. I mean, and Joe took care of him, but he was going to make that look good. And Darby dived, and then hit him with a skateboard because it didn't start in the ring, so the match actually didn't start yet. And then he gets a ladder and dives off the ladder because Darby is bound determined to die, apparently, in Seattle, is what I wrote down. And then Joe slows it down, beats the shit out of him, keeps choking him out, keeps doing this stuff. Darby eventually Darby got slammed into the steps, back first. He got thrown to the post. There was a chop during the commercial break that I felt in my feet, and I was 60 feet away. I felt a chop in my feet. And then Darby finally comes back. It's a code red. Hits 2 coffin drops. 1, 2, 3. What? I mean, yeah, the crowd might have been pissed if Samoa Joe won, but you know what? In all honesty, they cooled off Wardlow so much, I guess maybe they felt, hell with it. Let's just give the hometown people something. Let's have a hometown hero win. They've tossed the TNT Championship around so goddamn much. It was a good idea at first, and now it's just gotten to where it feels like just another belt. And that's the unfortunate thing because they also have a lot of Ring of Honor belts. I mean, so it was cool for the hometown crowd. I don't know it. It was great that Sting came out at the end, so I can check off my bucket list. I got to see Sting in a wrestling ring. Sure, I didn't get to see him wrestle, but I got to see the icon Sting. Sting! In the ring. So that was cool. Confetti, all this stuff, all these sparkly things go off. And then Darby actually brought out Nick fucking Wayne. Brought him into the ring. And praised him and everything. Talked about this. Praised Buddy Wayne, all that. And said he's honoring his, he's doing a great doing a great thing honoring his dad, and that, hey, when you graduate high school, I offered you that contract. When you graduate, this title's yours. Basically, it's when he turns 18. So he's going to graduate high school in, I think Nick Wayne tweeted 6 months, so it's going to be July. Kid deserves it. The kid really deserves it. I mean, Nick Wayne is a great goddamn talent. He has a hell of a goddamn show to be at. By the way, for Dark Elevation, just in case you want to tune in, Nyla Rose appeared. They did weird stuff with Marina Shafir. Christopher Daniels versus Bandito was a match. That was a match on Dark Elevation. And it was a pretty good match. It was short, but it was a pretty good match. Anyway, yeah, hell of a goddamn... I'm sorry for my voice really just being totally goddamn shot, but it was a blast. I am tired. I'm going to go get a few hours before I have to go to work here in a few hours. But it was a blast, even if it was a long day, even if I hate driving in Seattle. It was absolutely worth it. Because I got to be part of a live goddamn experience, and I got to hang out with one of my best friends. Thanks, Rox. It was a whole lot of fun. I have to do it again at some point. Oh, and Tony Khan, by the way, should not speak to the fans because he means well. He is not a public speaker at all. He says he's trying to get the show back in Seattle at some point. You know what? If he brings it back by June, give us the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Give us a Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I will buy a ticket. I'll buy 2 tickets because Rox will want to go. Anyway, fun show overall. Did the crowd noise come across well on your television screen or whatever device you decide to use? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.